Hello, hello, everybody. It is Jackie from Pocket of Preschool, and I am so excited you guys are here tonight. So, tonight's Facebook Live is all about fall sensory activities. You can kind of see some that I have to show you. I have a whole bunch set up for you guys. But tonight's Facebook Live is sponsored by Lakeshore Learning, who we all love because they make amazing tools and activities and toys for us to use in the classroom. Let's get right to it. So tonight's Facebook Live, again, all about fall fun sensory activities you can do in the classroom. So the first thing you need is a sensory base when you're doing sensory activities, right? So I'm going to show you two different sensory bases for these fall activities. So we're going to use kinetic sand and then mad matter. So first, let's talk about using kinetic sand for some fall activities. So this set is actually the Learn and Play sensory sand set. It kind of comes with everything all in one tub. So if you don't have any kinetic sand yet, this is like the perfect little thing for you to get because it kind of has everything with it. And it even comes in this nice little tub, and we love our organizational tubs. So this is the kit, or the sand set, I guess. And it has the little sand castles pieces, and then it has a roller and some little tools and some little blocks. But again, we're talking about fall, so I'm going to take these out. These would be great for using in the summer when you're doing sand castles, but we're going to do fall. So I'm going to take these out, and we're going to save them for another time. But we're going to use the rest of this base. So another thing I grabbed from Lakeshore that they sent me are these fun learning letters. They're so cool, you guys. Look how awesome these are. So there's uppercase. I have some out here so I can show you. Hold on. But I already have matched up. So there's an uppercase and a lowercase for each letter. They're nice and thick. So great for sensory play. You could even probably put these in the water. They would come clean really easy. You could use these in shaving cream. So that would be perfect. But they are really very, very durable. And you can put them in the kinetic sand and in the mad matter. So let's do some activities with these fun fall leaves. Oh, and then also in there are these laminated activity ideas for you to use with them. So these aren't sensory ones, but you can use, these are in there for you guys to use too, which I love that they included them. And it's really nice that they're laminated for us. So what can we do with these? So one thing I thought you could do was you could make a corn maze or a tree with these. So let me put these out. So what I was thinking you would do is, because you know they love to take the tools out. And so this is the kinetic sand that it comes with. And I love it because it's brown, so it's kind of like a tree and fall colors. But this kinetic sand, it kind of like melts in your hand. So if regular sand bothers you because it's really messy, this is perfect because it kind of like molds to your hand and then it melts. And if it falls out, here, I'll kind of show you. It falls out in kind of like chunks, so it's much easier to clean up than regular sand. So if it falls out in a chunk, like a big chunk falls out, the kids can also pick it up a lot easier and throw it back in, which is really nice. And it's very soft and soothing, which we all need right now, especially our little learners. But it's really relaxing and it's not gritty like some kinetic sands. So I really like their kinetic sand. So what you could do is spread this all out. And do you see all of this great fine motor when I'm spreading this out in my tray? So you could spread it out. And what you could do is you could put the leaves all inside. So maybe just some of them you could put in, or maybe you could put a bunch of them in, and they could bury them because they love to do what? They love to bury and play hide and seek. They could hide them in the sand. You could also, they could put them in and kind of like sprinkle the sand on top. And again, when we have our little learners, these are perfect because maybe we're just working on a couple letters. So we could give each kiddo a sensory bin, or each pair of kids, And then they could have different letters. So maybe these friends have the only ABC in them. Maybe other friends have different letters. You could also put the letters of their name in there, and then they can just kind of hide them in the kinetic sand. So basically they are just playing in the sand with these letter manipulatives. So that's one thing you can do. They can just play in the sand with letter manipulatives. Over here. And again, as they're playing in this kinetic sand, it's really, really great fine motor because they have to push and use their muscles to flatten it or to squeeze it. And it also makes like nice like little balls so they can mold it. But they could also make like a corn maze. So it comes with these little blocks, but it makes like bricks. So isn't that so cool? So they could, if they wanted to, not a corn maze, I'm sorry, I meant like a tree. They could make a tree. So what they could do is use these blocks and move some of my sand over. And so they could put like a little bit on the bottom for their dirt. And then they could use the blocks to make like the tree trunk. Whoops. And your little builders will love doing this. And they can just, all they do is really just press it in there, and it kind of makes like a little brick. And it just like slides kind of right out. And then they could make the top of the tree just by smashing it. And then they can put, whoops, sorry. Let's get some more sand over there. And then they can put their leaves in their tree. So we have a little letter tree. So that's one thing they could do with it. Just kind of mold and make whatever they want with all of the letters. Now on the back of the letters there are like the veins on the leaves. So they could also smash it flat and use like the roller and make it nice and flat. And then they could press the plain side down, push, and use all their upper arms and their nice big shoulder muscles. And they'll have a leaf print in the sand. Do you see it? And then if they wanted to, they could use these little tools that it comes with, and they could write the letter in the sand. Now, if you don't want them to press it in, they could also just flatten all of the sand. We're just going to pretend like all of my sand is flat. And they could either use the tool that's included, or if you want more friends than one, and let's say you only have we've only bought like 2 kits, but you're using this for a small group, there are 2 tools that come with it, but you could also use little sticks. And what they could do is they could pick a letter and put it in the sand and then write it in the sand with the stick. Now, is it going to be perfect? No. But again, we're just getting them to write in fun and different ways. And then they can smash to erase. Then they can put that leaf in and then pick out another leaf. And again, the tool writes really nice. Oh, I wrote the wrong letter. I picked N. And they can write their N. Or again, they could use a stick to make the letter N. And then erase. And then they could put it back. So there's just a couple of things you could do with it. So many fun things. So that is the sand kit. So they can just pick a letter and then they can write it in the sand, or they can just play with these letters in the sand, which is really fun too. So that is idea number 1. Oh, I forgot. Here's another one. So if you wanted them to write too, but you wanted some sensory added to their play. So they could, let's say you have a whole bunch of these in here, right? You got a whole bunch. And they stuck them all in there. And that can be part of the activity to begin with. They can stick all the letters in the sand. We're just going to pretend like I put a whole bunch in there. And then they can pick one, and then they can write it on their paper. Or they can put it back in for their other friend to find. And then they can pick another letter, and then they can write it on their clipboard. So you could use it for a fun handwriting activity too. And then if they do take them out as they write, have them either put all of them back in for their friend, or the next friend who comes to the activity, they would put all the letters back in. And they can hide them however they want. So they could push them all in and hide them, do whatever they wanted. So again, so fun. And I love how thick and like sturdy they are, because sometimes our little friends can be a little rough with things, but that's okay. So here's another activity I have. So here is this one. So this is just the green kinetic sand. So it comes in different colors too, which is really fun. I just got the green, and inside of it, there are 3 bags of kinetic sand. This is just one of the bags, and then I have another one over here. But I wanted to show you kind of how big they are. So I would say you could probably have a pair of students use one bag, and probably to fill up the sensory table, depending on how big it is, you probably could use 1 or 2 boxes depending on how big your sensory table is. So this is the green sensory sand. So we have green. Now, I put some of the letters in, and then what I also did was I put letter cookie cutters in. So Lakeshore has a set of cookie cutters. These are great because they have, this set comes with a ton of different cookie cutters in it. So it has the green ones, which I already pulled out. These are the letter cookie cutters. And then also inside, there are these shape cookie cutters with like a little print on them, which I'm going to show you those in a minute. And then there are also like just some regular cookie cutters. So there's some like animals, like a dolphin, there's like a little hand. So just a whole bunch of kind of fun. There's a car and a star. So just a whole bunch of fun, just like regular shaped cookie cutters that you could have in your like Play-Doh center. So these are super fun. And again, I love them because they have the letters in them, and they have other ones too. So what you could do is pick, so let's say you have this set up, and I would set up like, so it comes with 3 bags of sand, so you could set up 3 of these and work on different letters. Right there. So I have F, L, R, and T. So what they could do is, again, they could hide the letters. And then, let's say they're all mixed up, right? So they have to find the letter match. So I would go L, and then L. Oh, you can't see it. Let me do it backwards. So it would be like letter L, and letter L. Can you see it that way? L and L. And then use the cookie cutters. They would flatten it. And then they can push the cookie cutter in to make the letter. And it'll use the little stick to poke it out. And then you have the L. And well, the letters probably won't come out perfect, but that's okay, because even if they don't push down all the way and it doesn't come out, it really makes this nice little print. They can make a whole bunch of L's. And then they can trace the L's with a stick or the tool, whichever one you want. And I love adding little, you know me, I love to add little tiny things to sensory tables, because little kids love little tiny things. So they could pick out all the little tiny things, and they could fill in the letters, or they could push it in the letter cutout. So they could kind of build the letter in the kinetic sand. And look at all this great fine motor work, guys. And I love kinetic sand because it's very calming. It's a very calming sensory material. It's also a very quiet sensory material. So you could totally use this during like if you're doing literacy block, if you're a kindergarten teacher, you could totally have this out as your letter center. Now, if you teach preschool or pre-K, this could be a table time activity. You could have 3 of these set up. Since there's 3 bags, you probably could even put it into 4 of these bins. And these are the paper, they're like the paper holders from Lakeshore, these little bins. But you could put them on a tray if you wanted to, the kinetic sand. But you can make like 3 of these, and you could use these for table time. You could have them as a center choice, just have them on your tables and have them set up. But look, you can have, they can, when the little beads are all mixed up, then they have to find them. So it's so fun. It's kind of like a treasure hide and seek. The little letters. And again, this kinetic sand, you guys, it's so soft. It's not grainy like some kinetic sands are. It's so soft and it kind of like melts in your hand. So I love it. It's so soothing. I love kinetic sand. And again, it's so much less messy than regular sand. So much less messy. So that is another activity you could do. There's the other cookie cutter letters that go with that. And then you could just have the beads kind of in it. You wouldn't even have to have the bowl. So if I had this out, it would just look like this in the center, and maybe you could have a couple sticks in there. So now they have to match the letters, and there's little cookie cutters, and there's little beads inside, and little sticks, and they can just like go to town. So another thing you can also put in kinetic sand that's really fun are, I can't reach it, are basically anything you use, I wouldn't say anything. Most of the things you use in Play-Doh, you can use in kinetic sand. So you could also put these are dough design wheels, but again, these are great because you can also use them in kinetic sand, and these are, again, super sturdy, nice and thick, so they will hold up well, and this set comes with 6 of them. And if you can see, the handle's kind of bumpy, so it kind of fits their hand really well. So this is a really great too for even like the little toddlers, because this is a great way for them to start working on that fist and those finger strength. So you could also put this in there, so that way if they wanted to, they could make a row or little spots for all of the leaves. Or they could even like make a trunk. And again, the kids are so much creative. They're more creative than us, right? They could even make their trunk with this and roll it. And then they could make their R tree. I mean, kids are, again, so creative. And they could put all the little beads in their tree. And they could stick the sticks in there. And this is their R tree. And then over here, they could make an L tree. They have their different trees. Then they can make another one. So much fun. Oh my gosh. Like endless things they could do with this. And once they match them a couple times, what are they going to do? They're just going to play in it. And they're going to mold the sand. Watch this. Hold on. One of my kiddos did this when I had this out getting this ready for tonight. Look, they made like a little tree with the sand. Look at how much fun is that? You can make a little tiny tree on the top. Look at that little tree. So fun. So again, endless opportunities, and this is just the green kinetic sand, and again, so fun to play in. Okay, so that's another idea. So, okay, I want to tell you a couple more things, because if you buy something, I want to make sure that you have other ideas for you to use it. Obviously, just in the sensory thing. So, you know, I love butcher paper activities. How much fun would these letters be for a butcher paper activity? You could make different trees, and they could like draw trees on butcher paper and then put the letter, and then they would have to match those in there. Or you could draw a giant tree and put letters in the tree, and then they would have to match these letters in the tree. So you could use these for so many more things other than sensory. But I love using doing sensory activities in my classroom. And they're so sturdy and they're amazing. And you could use them in all of the sensory things too, which is so fun. I love these things that are like versatile, that you can use in more than one way. So, and you can line them up, like put them in ABC order. You can do matches. And again, all those cards come with it. So it'll tell you different activities, give you some ideas on other things you can do with it. So those are some fall things with the fall leaves, right? So I have more activities, more ideas for you guys. So in the fall, it's also Thanksgiving. So I know a lot of teachers do nutrition and talk about kind of like being healthy in November. So here's another fun activity you can do. So this is some more of the green kinetic sand, and then I'm using oh, I forgot to tell you, this comes with numbers, cookie cutters too. So the numbers are in here. And then I'm going to use these really fun fruit counters. So they have grapes, a green apple, blueberries, strawberry, orange, and a banana. Oh my gosh, how many themes could you use these for? You could use these for like health and nutrition. You could use them for farm. If you're doing like grocery store, if you're doing bakery, they could make pies, you could make like, you know, like a, oh my gosh, my nose, sorry, like banana pies and apple pies. So many fun things you could do with fall counters. So many fun things. Okay, so this one I did, it's upside down for you guys, sorry. So one thing you can do is using oh my gosh, my nose is itching like crazy. So you could take this is the green kinetic sand again. It's this stuff, just the green kinetic sand. And I just have this on an activity tray, and these are from Lakeshore too, of course, right? But they can flatten it, and again, when they're oh, I'm sorry, I'm shaking the camera. So when they're flattening it, they're pushing, and they're going to use these upper arm muscles because they need strong upper arm muscles to have strong little muscles. So they can they could put the cookie cutter letters in number order. Obviously, they would do this facing them, but I'm doing this so you guys can see it. They would put them all in number order, and then they could count out that many pieces of fruit. So they're identifying numbers, and then they're counting out the objects. Again, you could totally do this activity on the table, but when you add this kinetic sand, it lets them use more of their senses, which keeps them more engaged, and it's just more fun for everybody, and it's great fine motor. So I always have, you guys know I love my pony beads, so you could also have them make the letter, and they can either do it, push it all the way in, or just a little bit, up to you, or up to the kiddo how they want to do it, and then they can put that many beads in. I'm going to do orange just so it's easier to see for you guys. And they can put that many beads in the number, or they can just trace the number. Kind of up to them, right, what they want to do. You could also just have these beads in the kinetic sand, just for some fun, kind of extra little treasure that they can poke, and they can pick it out, and they can put it in to make the number. Oh my gosh, this kinetic sand is so much fun. So they can make the number with the beads. Sorry, my nose itches. And then, if that's too tricky, if you don't, let's say you don't want them to do another way, right? So you put those back. And smoosh it up. Let's say you just want them to pick, so let's say they can just pick a number. So they're going to pick 5, and then they're going to count out 5. I would probably put these in like a tub like this rather than having them in that container. And then they can go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Or they could make like a ball, and they can say that it's 5, and they can put 5 in their like little cupcake. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Like a little fruit ball. Again, oh my gosh, look how cool that is, you guys. It's all sticking up. So cool. I love using cookie cutters. And you could also use stamps if you have rubber stamps. Stamps are really fun to use in kinetic sand too. So fun. So let's say you don't want to use the number cookie cutters, right? Let's say you want to make it a counting activity. So give your little learners a pie pan. You're going to use a dice, and have them make the crust with the kinetic sand. Because during Thanksgiving and in the fall, a lot of people eat a lot of pies, right? So they make the crust with the kinetic sand, and now we need some fruit to fill it up. So then they roll the dice. 1, and I'm going to put 1 in my pie, and they're going to roll it again. 1, and I'm going to put 1 in my pie. We're going to roll it again. I'm going to help it out. 2, 1, 2. I'm going to put 2 more in my pie. So they're going to keep rolling the dice until their pie is full. We're just going to pretend. So now my pie is full of fruit. We're just going to pretend I rolled and I filled it all the way up to the top, and then they can pretend to eat it, right? And then what can they do? They'll put it back. Or realistically, what are they going to do? They're just going to probably start playing in the kinetic sand with their fruit counters, doing kind of whatever they want. They may sort them. They may match them up. They may just make a strawberry pie. But again, it's just kind of a fun sensory twist, or a fun way to add sensory to a math game, especially if you have friends who are reluctant to play math games. Add like some kinetic sand and a little pie pan, and I bet they will be a little bit more inclined to come play with you. So just a fun little twist on an activity we always do. We always roll the dice, and usually it's just like pom-poms in a pie pan. So why not add some kinetic sand, and they can make the crust, and then they can roll the dice, and they can fill it up. Super, super fun. And again, these are just the fruit counters. Okay, so that's another thing you could do. Hold on. Move that out of the way. So I also wanted to show you the Mad Matter. So this is more of like a dough. So it's called Mad Matter. It says it will never dry out. So you can shape it, build it, stretch it, and form it. So this is more of a Play-Doh, but it's not like a sticky dough like Play-Doh. So it's kind of like kinetic sand, but it's not so grainy. It doesn't really like melt in your hand. So once you mold it, like I can mold this into a ball, it's not going to kind of like melt like kinetic sand would. So it kind of holds its shape more. So I thought a fun thing we could do with the Mad Matter would be they could make little cupcakes. And again, I'm just using the fruit counters. And I do have a little pie wheel out because I'm going to show you that in a minute. But you could put out these are just the little rubber, like silicone cupcake molds. And then I put 2 of each counter out. And if you don't have these, you could do colored cups. So they could sort by color. And I love these counters because, well, I love all counters really, because they are so nice and you can sort them by color. Now, let's say your friends don't want to sort by color, because that would be something we would do like normally with counters, right? But we have this really fun Mad Matter. So what they can do is they can put some dough in each one, and they can make little fruit cakes. So they can roll it into a ball, or they can just mash it in there, and then they can push their fruit in. And again, they can do it by color. You don't have to do it by color if they don't want to. But again, this is really great because it's kind of like Play-Doh, but not so messy or like sticky, I guess. So it's just a really fun and different sensory material that they could use. So they could do that. And then let me show you. So if you take the Mad Matter, you could even roll it into like a snake. I'm just going to do that. So you kind of roll it like Play-Doh. They can cut it with the little wheel. They can also run it through. And each wheel is like a different design. Oops, spilled stuff. So I'm going to move this over a little bit. So it comes with 6 designs. So we got like a zigzag and a pie. And this one's like kind of like a pie and a zigzag. And then this one's more like a gear, I would say. And the other one's, I think, over there somewhere. But so they're all a different design. So that's that one. And then this one's a little bit, it's different. So that's really fun. So you can use, again, you can use a lot of your Play-Doh tools in the Mad Matter, which is this stuff. And this is one bag. And it comes in different colors. So there's not, the kinetic sand comes in, the color kinetic sand has 3 bags in it. This is the single bag of the Mad Matter. And it comes in red, green, teal, blue, purple, and pink. So, again, just another fun thing you can do with these sensory with the sensory base. I'm sorry, lost my train of thought. And you can put the beads in this too, so they can put the beads in to match their cupcake. Oh, there's green, and they can smash it in, and like they can hide it in the middle. I love playing the game where if everybody's playing with dough or something like that, and one friend hides it, and you say, okay, hide your thing in your dough, and then they hide it, and then they have to pass it to the next friend, and their friend has to use their fingers and find it and say, oh, I found it. And you can say, okay, you can also do this with counters, so they could hide the counter, and they could roll it, and they could squeeze it, and they can hide it, and then they can pass it to their friend, or they can trade. And then you can go, oh my gosh, what did you hide? Oh, you hit the blueberry! And then they can find it. And then they'll do it again. But again, really great way to kind of work on making those fine motor muscles strong, because when you hide it, they're having to do what? They're having to squeeze, and they're having to use their hands together, which is great because they're also crossing the midline, right? And then they have to use their thumbs and their fingers to pull it apart to find it. So another fun activity you can do. Okay, and then let's say you don't want to do it. It's like a fall theme or any kind of thing. Let's say you just want to do just a fun sensory activity. So this is the red Mad Matter. So I just have, this would be great to do as like a morning arrival activity. Have all the Mad Matter on trays, and then have different tools. So this one is scissors, a wheel, and these are the cookie cutters that come in the dough cookie cutters. So again, you can do a lot of things with the Mad Matter, just like you would Play-Doh. But again, it's just something different and new. And when something is different and new, they're probably more excited and more interested because they've never played with it, right? It's something new and different. So they can cut it. So again, you can practice scissor skills. These are the dough Play-Doh scissors from Lakeshore. And they can roll it really tiny, and they can just snip, snip. They can snip it this way. Oh, and then I have tape on here because I always say like your thumb goes by the tape. So that's a really kind of visual for them to know where their thumb goes. And then again, you can have the wheel, and they can make the wheel go through it. And then I want to show you these cookie cutters because they're so cool. They're a little bit different than normal cookie cutters. So I can always like make it into a ball, and then they can smash it flat. And then, so these cookie cutters have two shapes on them. So this side is a star, and then this one's a heart. So you can smash it. And they can also put their finger in to kind of make sure that stays. And it kind of makes two, if you can see it. The heart's on the top. Or they can push and use the heart all by itself. So they could use the heart if they wanted. So they can either use the big cookie cutter, whoops, or the little one. And it doesn't have to be super, super thick. The dough doesn't, so they can just push and pull it out. Or again, they can just use the little one, and they can push and pull it. I like it because they can, if they want to, they can push their finger to kind of hold it in if they want it to stay down. So again, I think sometimes we make morning table time like super, we think everything has to match our theme, and it doesn't. It doesn't always have to match our theme. But this would be really a really fun and engaging like morning activity, or just maybe something you do in the, I have hair in it, all this long hair. So you could just have it all set up, and then just keep it in the bag. Another thing that I like to do, and I always needed when I taught full day. So when I taught full day, my little friends take naps. But there's always those friends that they don't all take a nap, right? So what you can do is I like to make, and I know a lot of us did this during COVID, is we made mini sensory bins. So a lot of us have a ton of pencil boxes. So what you can do is take the Mad Matter, or you can do this with the kinetic sand, and you can put it in the you can put it in the little box, because kinetic sand and the mad matter are both quiet activities. So what they would probably do is they would probably have that in there, and then they would put the little cupcakes up here, so that way they had more room to play. And I would probably only put 3 cupcakes, and then you could put the other colors in the other one. Now it does stick a little bit, but you can just wash that off in the sink. So just so you know, you could also again put a wheel in here if you wanted. You don't have to, but again, you could have the beads that, whoop, dropped it, the beads to match in there, and then they could make the little cakes. And again, do you hear anything? Like, it's really quiet. So again, this would be perfect to do at nap time because at nap time, usually it's after lunch. A lot of the friends are asleep. There's always those friends that aren't asleep. In Missouri, I think licensing, or it used to be, after 30 minutes, the kids who aren't asleep need to get up and do a quiet activity in the back, which is always challenging because the other kiddos need that sleep that are sleeping, but the kiddos that are awake need something to do, and they've probably been there all day, so they need some, usually kind of like sensory or something to kind of get their muscles going, so they can be calm and quiet to let the other friends sleep. And again, I've been playing with this the whole time I've been talking, and you can't hear it. Unlike a noodle or a rice sensory table, it gets kind of loud, and that could wake up some friends who are light sleepers. But again, friends who need the sensory, they could do this while their other friends are sleeping, and it won't wake anybody up. And it's also great too when you use the pencil boxes. Oh, and this comes off really easy too. So I had some out off the table, so the kids could pick it up and put it back in, or it just slides off the table really easy, which is always great. I love when things clean up really nice, or as nice as can be, right? Like, rather than having like shaving cream that gets everywhere. But I do love shaving cream. But so you could give, like, let's say you have 4 friends awake, you could give 4 friends different little boxes, and you could do 2 with like a fruit. You could do 2 that have something else in them, or maybe you could have different tools. Like, you could put like another one, you could put like a little sandcastle, or another one you could put some of these little blocks that came in the sensory sand kit. So you could really put anything in there you wanted. You could put letter cookie cutters in there, or just regular cookie cutters, like some of the normal ones that come in here. So you could put, like, maybe you could put like you could put the animals in one, and then you could have like the transportation ones in another one, or you could put these cookie cutters in there, so that way everybody has something different. So when a friend gets bored, you can say, okay, ready, switch, and then they switch. And then now this friend has something different than they did before. So yeah, so those are some fun activities you can do for a fall thing in your sensory table, or in sensory bins that you can use on the table or on trays like this, or, hold on, gotta be able to get to it again, in like a little bin. So I hope you guys loved these really fun sensory activities that you can do for the fall, or really a lot of these you could do. You could use the kinetic sand with other themes once you're done with fall and the leaves are not orange and yellow anymore. You can still use the kinetic sand for a different theme. And again, this one has the sand castles in it. So again, you're ready to do a summer or a beach theme. But oh my gosh, you guys, I love kinetic sand. So relaxing. So these one more time. So we have, and all of the things that I have from Lakeshore are linked. So we have the learning leaf activity letters. And you guys, if you're only going to grab one thing, this is it, because these are so cool. Oh my gosh. I wish they had these in like a ton of different shapes. Like, I wish they had like leaves, and then they had a set that was like apples and maybe like snowballs, just because they're so fun and you can use them for so many activities. And then we have the dough cookie cutters. We have the dough wheels, and there's 6 of them in it. And then we have the fruit counters. And then we had the Mad Matter, and I showed you the blue and the red. And then we had the green sensory sand. And then this big beautiful bin is like came with the little learn and play sensory sand like starter set. So this is really cool. If you don't have any kinetic sand yet, it's a really cool kit to get to kind of get you started because it comes with a bin. We love bins. And then if you had any questions, I couldn't see your comments during this video, so what I will do is after we're done, I will go back and try and answer all of your questions in the thread. So I hope you guys have a great night. So I hope you guys have a great week. If you do any of these activities in your classroom, make sure to tag Pocket Preschool or Lakeshore Learning so we can repost them and give you guys shout outs. So I hope you guys have an amazing night, and I will talk to you guys soon.